Hello, everyone. I'm Frank. Welcome to Frank Puzzles, and this is episode 3 of Learn How to Sudoku, which is basically my repurposed, very easy solves, where I try to go through in more details about how I get to my logic uh, Instead of going through very quickly, I try to go through in a slower pace. So hopefully this appeals to you guys. Let me know in the comments if you guys think this is good, this is bad, this is, whatever. If you already do a lot of Sudokus and just want to play along, the link's going to be in the description. But this is today's very easy puzzle, and it's called K-lines by cosinus or cosinus, something like that. Anyways, here are the rules. Standard Sudoku rules apply. The digits 1 through 9 appear in every row, column, and box. Digits along a German whisper line must differ by at least 5. So these are German whisper lines, and they're usually denoted as green, just for... I don't actually really know why. It's always been sort of the case for variant Sudokus that German whisper lines are green. Anyways, say this were a 3. It's to be, we celebrate that there's a 3 in the corner. But digits, again, along a German whisper line, adjacent digits must differ by at least 5. So if this were a 3, this would have to be an 8 or a 9 to be next to it, because again, you have to have a difference of at least 5 between adjacent digits on a German whisper line. So that's the rule for German whisper lines. XV dominoes. Cells separated by an X must sum to 10. Cells separated by a V must sum to 5. Not all X's and V's are necessarily given. There is no negative constraint. So basically, cells separated by an X must add up to 10. So for example, if this were a 3, this would have to add up to 7, because the two cells separated by an X must add up to 10. If this were 3, this would be a 2, because the two cells separated by a V must add up to 5. And those are the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, let's learn how to Sudoku. Okay, so the first thing that I think of when I see these is Okay, so on a German whisper line, adjacent digits always alternate between low and high. And by low, I mean 1 through 4 and 6 through 9 as high. 5 can never be on a German whisper line, because there is no digit that are in normal Sudoku with normal Sudoku rules. Because normally 5 cannot be 5 away from another digit. 5 can be 5 away from 0, which is not normally in standard Sudoku rules, or it can be 5 away from 10 and more, but the problem is 10 is obviously not a digit. So on there, if you have a low, so you have a digit, say you have a digit from 1 through 4. Well, the lowest digit you can have is 1, which is the lowest digit. The lowest adjacent digit you can have. So say this, well, okay, we know there are 2 digits here that add up to 5. So therefore, this can only be 1, 4, and 2, 3, right? So this has to be 1 through 4. So because of that, we know the adjacent digit next to it must be at least 1 plus 5 digits, because 1 is the lowest, and then you have a difference of at least 5. Well, that means that the adjacent digit has to be from 6 or higher. So therefore, it's 6, 7, 8, 9. And if you look at it that way, then, if you look at adjacent digits from the 6 through 9, you have the highest number you can have adjacent to it has to be a 4, because you have the highest number, which is 9, and you have a difference of 5 there. So that you have 9 minus 5. That means the highest number you can have adjacent to it is 4. So therefore, and therefore this has to be 4 or lower. So you, as shown by this, you always alternate between lows and highs. And I usually color the lows as blue and the highs as red. So this is always blue, this is always red, this is blue, and this is red. Now you know so this has to, for 10, for 2 digits that add up to 10, you have one that must be from 1 through 4, and then the other one which must be 6 through 9, right? Because you either have 1 9, 2 8, 3 7, or 4 6. And one of them is always from 1 through 4, and one of them is always from 6 through 9. So it's the same dynamic. You have a low and a high next to each other. So since this is low, this has to be high. If this is high, that means this is low, which means this has to be high, this is low, this is high, and this is low. Again, here you have 2 digits that add up to 5, therefore they're both low. 2 digits that add up to 5, therefore those are both low. And 2 digits that add up to 5, therefore those are both low. You know this is low, therefore the ones adjacent to it on the German whisper line must be high. Those must be adjacent to low numbers, so these are low, which must be adjacent to high numbers, so therefore these are high. Now these two add up to 10, and again you have one low number and one high number when you have 2-digit cells adding up to 10. Therefore, this must be low, which means on a German whisper line, adjacent to it must be high. So therefore, this is high. And how do we use these things usually? Well, the way I usually use them is I see how many highs and lows I have in each row, in each column, and each box, right? Well, in this one, this has to have one high and one low in this, right? So, and we have 3 other lows in the box. Therefore, in the other cells, since one of these is low, and we have 3 other lows, that means that's 4 lows accounted for, and there's only 4 digits in the set of 4 lows. And since we have 4 cells that we have to have 1 through 4, that means all of those are accounted for in those 4 cells. So the rest of the box cannot contain 1 through 4. It has to be 5 through 9. And I usually color these like pink or whatever, which designates that it can be either a 5 or it's a high. Similarly, in row 2, we see that we already have 4 lows. So again, the rest of the cells in that row cannot be a low number, because you have all the 4 cells which must be a low number, which must contain the digits 1 through 4, and there's only 4 digits there. So therefore, those 4 digits must be in those 4 cells. Therefore, these are pink also, because they have to be 5 through 9. So we know, okay, we have 4 highs in column 3. Because we have 4 highs in column 3, we know that there cannot be any high numbers in the rest of column 3. Now, the thing is, though, from what we learned in box 1, we know that this cell specifically has to be either 5 or a high number. But since it can't be a high number because of the 4 cells that contain high numbers in column 3, this cannot be 6, 7, 8, or 9, and therefore must be the 5, which means it's no longer pink because we have it specifically as a 5, and therefore this cannot be 5, and it must be a high number. So we can color that as red. Now again, we have 4 highs in column 3, and we have a 5. That means the last cell in column 3 has to be a low, so therefore this is low. So, on a German whisper line again, you have 2 cells. One of them, which are adjacent to each other. One must be low and one must be high, because of the nature that it alternates, right? So now we have 4 low digits, low cells, in box 7. And again, okay, so for everybody to understand, the way that we in the Sudoku community usually designate boxes is from reading from left to right and then top to bottom, because that's how most of the Western world normally reads. So this would be box one, this would be box two, this would be box three, this would be box four, this would be box five, this is box six, and therefore this is 7, 8, and 9. So that's why I'm saying this is box 7. And again, we have a German whisper line with 2 cells at least. So therefore, one must be low and one must be high. We also have 3 other cells in the box, in box 7, which are low. Therefore, that's 4 cells that have low numbers, which are all 4 low digits. Therefore, the rest of the box cannot be low digits. Cannot contain low digits. So therefore, these 3 must be high or 5. So this one, so anytime you have 2 digits adding up to 10, which are both unique, which are unique from each other, they have to be, it can never be 5, right? Because 5 has to add up with 5 to add up to 10. So this cannot be 5, therefore we know it's specifically high. We know 5 has to be one of these 2 cells. So therefore, since this is high, and as we said before, anytime you have 2 digits adding up to 10, you have to have a high and a low, as long as they're unique. So therefore, you have a high and a low, which makes this a high then. Okay, let's see, what else do we have then? So the 5 is one of these 2. Okay, this cannot be 6, because if it were 6, it has to be next to 2 unique digits. Sorry, 6 can only be next to 1 unique digit on a German whisper line. And that would be 1, obviously. The problem is this has to be 2 unique digits because they are in the same Sudoku box. So therefore, they have to be different digits. So this can never be 6. This could be 6 because it's next to a 1 unique digit on the German whisper line. This cell, though, is next to 2 unique digits on a German whisper line, since by Sudoku rules, these have to be unique. And this is also next to 2 unique digits on a German whisper line, because by Sudoku rules, 2 digits in a box have to be unique. So this is 7, 8, or 9. This has to be 7, 8, or 9. Therefore, in column 3, we have a 7, 8, 9 triplet. That means that the rest of the column cannot be in any other cell other than that triplet. So therefore, this can't be 7, 8, or 9. It must be 6. So since it must be 6, this must be 4 to add up to 10. And this has to be 1 to be next to it on a German whisper line, because 6 can only be next to 1 on a German whisper line, because that's the only digit that's 5 away. So therefore, this is 1. Therefore, the rest of the line has to be, the rest of the lows have to be 2 and 3, and 2 and 3. Which means these are, so this is 4, which is next to only 9 on a German whisper line, so this has to be 9. This can't be 9. This can't be 9. This can't be 4 then anymore, because, and therefore it can't be 2 and 3, because we have a 2-3 pair in box 7, which eliminates 2 and 3 from the rest of the box. Therefore, this has to be 1 or 4, but 4 can only be next to 9 on a German whisper line, so this can't be 4. So this must be 1, which makes this the 4, because this is the last low. Which means this has to be 6 to add up to 10. So this is 6, and therefore this is 9 to be next to 4 on a German whisper line. Now this 1 eliminates the possibility of this being a 1-4 pair to add up to 5, so that must be the 2-3 pair adding up to 5. So this is 2 and 3. The 2 and 3 must add up to 10 with 7 or 8. And we have a 7, 8, 7, 8 pair now in box 1. So the rest of the box cannot be 1, cannot contain 5, cannot contain 2 or 3 because of a 2-3 pair. And then this cannot contain 7 or 8 because of a 7-8 pair. Well, we know there's a low here, and that has to be 4. So this can't be 4, this must be a 4. And it must be next to a 9. on the German whisper line because it has to have a difference of at least 5. So therefore that's a 9. Therefore the last digit in box 1 has to be a 6. So therefore this is 6. This is 5 or 7, 8. This cannot be 2 or 3. So we know this cell must be 1 or 4, and this cell must be 1 or 4. Since this is a 1 or 4, it can only be with another 1 or 4. So this has to be 1 or 4, but the 4 cannot be here, so this must be 1, which makes this a 4, which makes this a 1. And 1 can be next to any high number, so it could be 7, 8, or 9. But to add up to 10, it must be with 9, so this has to be 9. If this were 3, this would have to be 2 and 8, so therefore that would make that 7. So therefore these two must be add up to 10 also. But if it's 3 and 7, that's not a difference of 5 on the German whisper line. So this cannot be 3 and it cannot be 7, which makes this 2 and this 8, which makes that 3 and that 7. So this can't be 7. We have 5, 6, and 7 here in the rest of row 2. This is also 5, 6, or 7. This has to be 2, 3, or 4. And 4 could be there because these could be both 9. We don't know, though. This can't be 1 and 4, therefore this has to be 2 and 3. If this is 2, this would have to be at least 7. So this is at least 7, 8, or 9. This is 7, 8, or 9. Therefore, we have a 7, 8, 9 triplet in column 5, which means the rest of the column cannot contain 7, 8, or 9. So this can't be 7. In addition, we know this is 8 or 9, so therefore one of these two has to be a 7. 3 can never be next to a 7 on a German whisper line, therefore this must be 2. This must be 3. Let's see, what else do we have here? This could be 2, 3, or 4. Because again, well, this can't be 9, so this cannot be 4 then. So this is 2 or 3. This has to be 7 or 8, because it can't be 6 or 9 by Sudoku rules. Let's see, what else do we have? So this, one of these has to be low, and one of them has to be high. So the low is either 2 or 3, and the high could be, if it's 2, it could be 7 or higher. If it's 3, it has to be 8. So it has to be 7 or 8 with it. This cannot be 7, 8, or 9. It cannot be 3. This can't be 7, 8, or 9, so this could be 6. But the thing is, if that's a 6, this would have to be a 1. And that can't be because we know we have a 1 here and a 1 here. Therefore, this cannot be 6. It has to be a low then, because all 6, 7, 8, and 9s are eliminated. So this has to be a low, which means this has to be a high. So therefore, and it cannot be 2 or 3, because we have a 2, 3, 2, 3 pair in row 7. So the rest of the row cannot contain a 2 or a 3. Therefore, this is 1 or 4. It has to be with 6 or 9. Or it can't be 6 or 9. 7, 8, or 9. 7, 8, or 9. This is 1, 4. Therefore, we already have 2 7 8s in a pair of 7 8s in row 8. Therefore, the rest of the row cannot contain 7 or 8. Therefore, this must be a 9. What else do we have? One cannot be here. One cannot be here. Oh, this can't be 9 because of this 9. This also cannot be 9, so it can't be 1 and 9. It could be 2 and 8, so this would have to be 2 if that's the case, and that's 8. It could be 3, 7, in which case that's 3 and that's 7. Except that we know there's a 7 in box 5 in column 5 because it has the 7, 8, 9 triplet. Therefore, this can't be 7, and this can't be 3. So it's 2, 8, or it's 4 and 6. And this could be either 4 or 6. So this has to be 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. And this can't be 1 or 6, and this can't be 4. This is also 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, but it can't be 1, 4, or 5. So we know 4 has to be one of these 3, or specifically these 2. 1 has to be one of these 2. This can't be 7. This can't be... we don't know that one yet. Okay, so what else do we have here? Okay, where is a 6 in row 1? It can't be here because it can't be next to 2 or 3 on the German whisper line. Therefore, and it can't be here because these are all filled in, so the 6 actually has to be in row 1, in box 2 in row 1, which means the rest of the box cannot contain a 6. Therefore, this can't be 6, this must be a 5. This can't be 6, it must be, and it can't be 5, it must be 7. So therefore, this has to be the 6 here. So again, these cannot, where you don't have to worry about them being pink. We have one high and another high here. These can no longer be 5. The 7 cannot be here because we have a 7 here. The 7 can't be here. Therefore, whereas a 7 in row 1, it has to be one of these cells on the German whisper line. Well, 7 can never be next to 3 on the German whisper line, and can't be next to 8 on the German whisper line. Therefore, we must have a 2, 7 pair here. Because only 2 and 7 can be next to each other on a German whisper line for the of the remaining digits. Therefore, this cannot be 2. This has to be 6 then, which means this can't be 6, this can't be 6. And we have a 3, 8 pair left in row 1. Therefore, this is 3 and 8, this is 3 and 8. We have a 3, 8, 3, 8 pair in box 2, which means 3 and 8 cannot be in the rest of the box. Therefore, this can't be 8, this is 9. This can't be 3, so this is 2 or 4, and this must be 2 or 4, but the 2 can't be there, therefore this is 4, which makes that a 2. So this is also low. This can't be 9 anymore. Therefore, we have a 7, 8, 7, 8 pair in box 5, which means 8 cannot be anywhere else in box 5. So this can't be 8, which means this can't be 2. Therefore, we know this is a 4, 6 pair in row 6 then. This can't be 2 anymore. Therefore, it must be 3 because of this 2. And since this is 3, 3 cannot be adjacent to 7 on the German whisper line. So therefore, these both must be 8. So this is 8, that's 8. Which means this can't be 8, this must be 7. This can't be 8, so this must be 7. This can't be 3, so this must be 2. This can't be 2, so this must be 3. Okay. And the remaining number digits in box 3 have to be 3, 5, and 8. We're not sure where exactly that is, but... let's see, what else do we know? 9 cannot be in any of these cells. 1 cannot be in any of these cells. Therefore, we have a 1, 9 pair in these 2 cells in box 5, because they can't be any of these. Therefore, this is 1 or 9, this is 1 or 9, but this can't be 9 because of this 9, so this is a 1, which forces that to be 9. The rest have to be 4, 5, and 6. So this is 4, 5, or 6, but this can't be 6 because of that 6. This can't be 4 because of that 4. Therefore, and this can't be 3 anymore, so therefore this must be an 8, which forces that to be the 3. What's left in column 6? It has to be a 7, so this is 7. So this can't be 6 anymore. Therefore, we have a 1, 2, 4 triplet in box 8. Therefore, this cannot be 1, 2, or 4. The only possibilities are 5, 6, and 8, but this can't be 6 or 8 because of these 2 cells. Therefore, this is 5. This is 6 or 8, and this is 6 or 8. So those both work. Okay. This has to have a 1 or 2 here, because you have to have one low. We know this is low. We know these are low. These both are high. Because of these are German whisper lines, they can't be 5. Where is the 5 in row 9? It can't be any of these cells. It can't be these cells because they're all filled in. It can't be these cells because the 5 eliminates them there. And it can't be on the German whisper line. Therefore, this must be a 5. So this is 5, which means this cannot be 5. This has to be 1 or 2 with 6 or 8. But 8... Oh, this can't be 7. Okay, so this becomes a 5-8-5-8 pair. That's probably easier. Because this is a 5-8-5-8 pair in row 7, the rest of the row cannot contain 5 or 8. So therefore, this must be 6, this must be 8. Therefore, where is the 6 in row 9? It has to be on the German whisper line. 6 can only be next to 1 on the German whisper line, and this can't be 6, so therefore this must be 6. Which makes this 1, and that makes that 2, which makes that 4, which makes this 1. So this is also low. We don't probably need the lows and the highs anymore, but... So, what's left here? This has to be a 2-3 pair. What's left here? This must be 4, 7, or 9. This can't be 4. What's left in row 6? It can only be 2, 3, 5, and 7. So this can't be 3 or 7, so this is 2 or 5. This can't be 2, so this is 3, 5, 7. This could be any of them, so this is any 2, 3, 5, 7. This can only be 2, 3, or 7. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? So this is 1 or 4, or it's 2 or 3. So if it's 1 or 4, it would have to be 1 here and 4 here. If it's 2 and 3, it could be 2 and 3 either way. This can't be 9 because of this 9. What else do we have? This can't be 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 9, so it's 2, 3, or 8. Okay. This can't be 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, or 9. So this has to be 3, 5, and 8, right? And this can't be 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. So it could be 1, 2, 5, or 8 here. Okay. That doesn't tell us very much. We have a 2, 3, 2, 3, 8, 3, 8 triplet in column 9. So the rest of the column cannot contain 2, 3, or 8. Therefore, this cannot be 2 or 3. This must be a 7, which forces this to be 9. So this can't be 9. This can't be 7, and this can't be 7 anymore. What is the last cell in column 9? It can't be 2, 3, 8 because of the 2, 3, 8 triplet. Can't be any of the filled-in digits, therefore it must be 6. So this can't be 6 then. This is 5, which forces this not to be 5. So this is 4, this is 6, this is 4. This 4 eliminates 1, 4 from being the pair here to add up to 5. So this has to be 2 and 3. Since this is a 2, 3, 2, 3 pair, there cannot be a 2 or 3 in the rest of the row. So this can't be 2 or 3, which forces this to be 8. This can't be 8, so therefore this is 3. These can't be 3, so this is 5 or 8. This can't be 3, so this must be 2, which means this can't be 2, this must be 3, which means this can't be 3, so this is 2. This can't be 2, this is 3. These can't be 2 or 3, therefore this is 5, which forces this to be 3 and this to be 2. This can't be 4 anymore, so this must be 7. This can't be 7, so this is 4. This can't be 7, so this is the 2. This can't be 2, so this is 7. This can't be 5. And now we're just doing normal Sudoku. So this is 5, this is 8. This has to be 9, and this has to be 1. This can't be 3 or 8, so it must be 5. This has to be 1, because it can't be 2, 5, or 8. This can't be 5, so that's 8, which makes this a 5. This has to be an 8, and this has to be a 7. And that's a solution. And that's how you solve a Sudoku. Yeah, and I do like German whispers a lot, particularly because I like coloring, and you can always alternate between the highs and the lows, which is fun. Anyways, I hope you had fun learning how to Sudoku, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.